Hey guys, Elvin Prince here, and this time, yeah, we're in the non copyright reaction version of things. If you guys are unaware, we just finished up the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Just pulling up somebody's name here so that I can properly thank them. One of these days, hopefully relatively soon, gonna follow Good Luck Services advice and look at the OVAs. Want to maybe go a bit further on this, but right now I'll just be happy to wrap it up. You know, I might do it after we finish Cowboy Bebop, but I'm gonna do a character ranking. We have S tier. These are my favorite characters. You know, I would die, not necessarily die for them, but I find them very interesting, compelling, and just all around very enjoyable. These are good characters, but they just don't have the same edge that would make a S tier character. B, they're all right. Like, eh, couldn't care too much about them. I'm actually gonna delete this because I don't think there's any D tier characters in uh, Brotherhood. C, these are, if B was, all right, these are like, don't really care for them, but they're decent enough. And then the final row, not enough information to comment. Like, it's just, I can't really make any further comment on them. They're just not all that either important to the story or just didn't leave an impact on me or anything else. And this will also just be testing my knowledge of characters in general. I think these are all the more important ones. So, without any further ado, let's start with the man, the myth, the legend, Alex Louise Armstrong, or All Might. The big buff guy with the fancy mustache and baby hair. I would put Armstrong at an A. He's he's a really good character. There's a whole lot more to him than, what meets the eye because most of his scenes are just, flexing, posturing, spinning around with roses everywhere. I enjoy him. You've got the deeper stuff of, you know, was he a coward? Maybe in the moment he was. Is it wrong to, was he wrong for removing himself and probably getting to at least some extent court martialed for his actions? Not necessarily, but he's trying to make up for the things he did in a less fishy way than what happened in Ishval. And next we have Barry the Chopper, the first one who introduced the existentialism for a soul in a suit of armor. It's almost sad, his final scene, you know, when he's reduced to a sheet of scrap metal about this big, literally being held together by a seal. And then his body goes over and claws the mark away, finally getting rest. He's a good character. I'd give him a B. You know, his scenes have some humor in them, and I think the humor is partially what makes this series so interesting. Next, we have our dear King Bradley, the Führer of Amestris, Wrath. He is S tier. It's just so fascinating because in the 2003 version, he was Pride, which I think still partially makes sense. He's very prideful about his country. This is Amestris, but really, He's angry. And it's not, this overflowing wrath that makes you want to destroy everything. It's cold anger, rage, calculating, just something bubbling right below the surface. And at any moment, he can just remove the eye patch and boom, out goes the wrath. Buccaneer. Buccaneer, what to say about him? He's alright. Big, burly dude, chainsaw arm. Really, the only interesting thing about him, beyond being what I assume is Shingi's, and, it's not really commented on, but, he's a good fighter, does everything that he needs to, and yeah, he's alright. Didn't leave a big impact on me. His death was sad, but, not as sad as it could have been. And as some later down the list will be. I'm going to give him a C. Decent. Nothing really much to speak of. One of the other Armstrongs, I could not tell you her name. I think she was in one scene. Why the fuck is she here? Only reason I can tell she's an Armstrong is because of the curly hair that is blonde. But again, for a country that is basically Germany, blonde hair does not tell you a lot. Not enough info to comment. Oh, this guy. He's, again, showed up a few times. I don't really remember him. But yeah, he's alright, I guess. Again, not enough info to comment. Hey, this guy. Again, I unfortunately don't remember his name. He showed up a lot in the beginning, and then there was what? Colonel Ross, and Poss. He's a decent guy, Gonna give him a B. He's alright. His scenes may be significantly less iconic than Barry the Chopper, but he's enjoyable in the scenes he's in. He bounces off of Ross really well. And, I don't know this guy's name. Only dog I know is Hayate, and because I believe that that's a vehicle manufacturer. Let's create a new one. Add a row below. Give it like a nice pale white, and just say... Actually, no, I can't do that. Can't create a row for a good boy. I'm gonna say not enough info to comment. He's got a cool design with his, automail left arm. And, he's a family dog. It'll be sad when he dies. But, yeah, overall, not that much to comment on him. Oh. Alicia. You are the first character in Full Metal Alchemist to make me cry. Just a comment of, why are you putting dirt on Daddy? That hurt. That hurt me here. As it did with everyone. We didn't get the same amount of time with them. From what I understand, in the 2003 version, I'll be watching that on my own time. But, God, you made me hurt. You made all of us hurt. B. She left an impact, but only had a few scenes with her. And now, our second homunculus, Envy. And oh boy, Envy is one envious motherfucker. Again, just one connection. That was something that our dear Führer was able to get, because deep inside, he was still human. Like, he still was very in touch with his humanity. Does he see himself as above humanity? Yes, he does. But he doesn't hate them. And envy can be the base of hate. He's Envy's they whatever they are. It's just a in the final scene of them where Envy just destroys their Philosopher's Stone, because it can't live being pitied by something it despised and saw it lesser than it. Envy's a motherfucker, an absolute wild card that just destroys because it can. Gonna give it an A. Envy's fun, and there's a lot to talk about it, or a lot to talk about with Envy. Here we are. Padre, Homunculus, the dwarf in the flask. S tier. It's, removing your flaws does not create a perfect being. It just creates something without fault. And that is not necessarily a good thing. Flaws are what makes us human. I believe that the phrase is, to err is human. Not to err is human, to err. And by removing the sins from your body, you don't create yourself as the perfect being. You're just, creating something that doesn't have the things that in moderation are good. Because without envy, you can't strive to be better than others. Without wrath, wrath is perhaps one of the most human sins. Up there with another one, but we'll get there when we get there. Overall, envy, jealousy, whatever you'll call it, compared to almost all the other homunculi, is fairly one-dimensional. Envy's just envious of everything around it. And, envious of, for example, how good-looking lust is. And, all of that. Yeah, A character. Mrs. Bradley. I'm gonna go B with her. She's a really interesting character. One of the reasons why Wrath married her is she stood up against him, slapped him, and he's like, oh, hot damn, I'm into that. And their marriage it's surprisingly good, considering the unhuman being that Wrath is. She truly cares for all parties involved. And she also understood that or at least I think that if needed, she took second place before the country. But Wrath, I don't think he would go that way. Anyway, Old Man Fu. His death affected Ling so hard. From my understanding, it would be like seeing your grandfather die taking a bullet for you. Again, B tier. He's a good character. Has some good scenes just with everyone. And overall, I enjoy his presence. Gluttony. His childlike innocence and simple design, because all the other sins have a vaguely human. The design is very human. He's weirdly off-putting. And yeah, they're just kind of there. Like, seeing them getting destroyed by pride was fascinating. But again, they're just kind of there. Nothing more, nothing less. Just eating everything they can. You can go down with Buccaneer. Uh, Gracia. Again, I think you're a good character. You gave the boys the strength to continue, which is what they needed to here because I think at that point they were willing to just, put everything down and walk away. They didn't want to deal with it, and you told them, no, keep going. Don't let my husband's death be in vain. Because of the effect you had on them, let's go A. Very low A, mind you, but still an A. And here we go. This guy, Greed. I'm gonna review Greedling, not Greedling, like what I thought it was when I heard it mentioned, but Greedling when we get to Ling. Greed is. I think he belongs up here. He is possibly the other most human sin. You know? Where Wrath sees himself above humans and, kind of. He doesn't hate them, he just mildly is annoyed and off put by them. Greed, he loves humans. You know? He's greedy in terms of needing connection. Greed is, I think, the most human emotion out there. The strive for something better. Disney princesses have him in large amounts, They want something more. Yeah, he's just so fun to be around. His absolute charisma, him just desiring women, power, money, everything. He's a good person to be around, and his final sacrifice against Father, he's the only one who turned, and that's largely in part to his second half. Izumi Curtis, a teacher, possibly one of the strongest female characters I've ever seen. She's absolutely brilliant. And she proudly announces what she wants to be, a housewife. Well, what's his name? Mr. Curtis. Why can't I think of it right now? Mr. Curtis, he runs the shop. She helps out. And it's a great relationship that they have. Her absolute drive to help the boys once she finds out what happened with them. It's awesome. Actually, no, she's S tier. Partially because of the amount of gravity she has on the series as a whole. Hayate, you're a good boy. I think I recall you hitting someone in the ass, resulting in major problems occurring. Again, I'm just gonna put you as a C because you're more memorable than the Rock Bell dog, and two, we see you a lot more. I don't remember the Chimera's names. I'm gonna think of it eventually. But Richard the Lionheart. The Chimera names, FMAB. Uh, his name is not John Cena. I'm thinking it too. He's he's a B tier. I enjoy him. Heinkel. He's a decent guy. You know, follows orders. His family is more or less being held hostage, but he joins Mr. Greed and does it all. He's the one who gets technically the killing blow on Kimberly before he gets absorbed into Pride. Again, decent guy. And he's fun to be around, joining Pride and his gang. The Rook of Mustang's crew. See, we don't see all that much of him. He helps with the Ross incident, riding out. And, we just see him doing his duty as a soldier. Nothing all that much to comment on. Decent guy. Clearly enjoys food, so I feel like kindred spirit in that. Maze Hughes. My man only showed up in how many episodes? Like, he died in episode 10, I believe. He figured out what everyone was doing so fast. They had to send Lust in and be like, well, nope, you don't get a, nope, fuck you, you're dying. Brilliant character. Truly a family man. And yeah, enjoy his presence. Jean Havoc. Or would that be Jean Havoc? Either way, shotgun dude, B tier. Enjoy him. Smells like a stale cigarette. Good man. This guy, company clerk, Radar O'Reilly. I don't know your name. I know it was mentioned a few times, but that's it. C tier, nothing all that special. Actually, no, he helps out a lot, but again, didn't leave enough of an impact to give me a name. Kimberly. Perhaps one of the most charismatic, charming motherfuckers I've ever seen in a show. He has morals. He sticks to those morals. He will get you to question your morals. And if you stick to your morals, he's going to respect you. Because in the end, I feel like that's what made him help against Pride. Otherwise, things might not have turned out the way they did. If there's a human version of Pride, other than Alex and his rippling muscles, which he is clearly very proud of, I feel like it'd be Kimberly. He was able to stay alive and by himself amongst the, as he put it, serenade of screaming souls. He's messed up in the head. And I love his character, but only like this. I don't want to mess with him in real life. Brilliant character. Charismatic. Knows what he wants. If anything, he's a bit hedonistic. He fights for those that will give him the ability to continue doing what he wants. And he wants to see the homunculi business through, purely because. S tier, up there with Wrath. The King of Xerxes. It's your fault all of this happened. But not enough info to comment. God damn it, I need water. Dr. Knox. Decent character. Nothing all that exciting about him. Actually, no. There is one major thing I remember with him. His family, at the time his son came by to ask his permission to be a doctor. He's a man broken by war. He saw everything that happened in Ishval. And if we're to believe, even understand his conversations with Mustang, he had to work with the bodies that Mustang just, turned to dust and ash. It's seeing him look at the picture and just the tears falling, where he's just like, please, God, if you exist out there, just let me have this. I enjoy him. Good man. Lon Fawn. Wonder if she and Ling got together. That doesn't matter one way or the other, but yeah. She, good character, loyal to a fault, possibly had one of the most metal scenes to some extent. It wasn't shown. We're not going to get a berserk thing of Lon Fawn just stabbing her arm off to try and get to Ling. Well, father, if we're using the berserk analogy, I'm not going to finish that sentence. Just like hacking off her arm. She gets an A. Her duty to her king and how that consumes her is brilliant. Enjoyable character all around. And here we go. The second part of the greatest duo to ever grace this show. Ling. Greedling. This boy's getting a S tier, and I'm gonna put him right next to his old pal. Apparently he has low blood sugar, which is why he keeps passing out. Slightly problematic, but we all gotta make do. His will to be, emperor is the true reason why he was able to stand amongst greed. I think he was the only person in the entire show to willingly become a homunculus by his own choice without being groomed for it like Bradley was. His absolute desire is admirable. I want to desire something as much as Ling does, because everything he goes through for it is awesome. And his final moments with greed, just being like, don't let go, I need you. He goes all in. And then eventually when greed has to leave to sacrifice himself and kill father. Good man. Yeah. And like May said at the end, greed rubbed off on him. He always had that piece of greed in him, but now he's like, hey, guess what? May, your clan's now protected by me. I'm starting to amass power. Lust. Only real notable things about her is she killed, why can't I think of his name? Hughes. And she's voiced by, what's her name? The woman who plays the tiefling in Critical Role. Husband, or she's the wife of Mustang in real life. Travis something or other. It's not Scott. I don't watch Critical Role. She's a bit bland to me. Like, she serves her job well. From what I understand, she was hugely fleshed out in the O3, but other than hearing the screaming, or than her screams keeping Travis up at night, that's as far as I can really go for speciality. Maria Ross. We're gonna have to start quick firing through these. Maria Ross, B. She died, and then she didn't. She managed to give one of the best fake outs, because I could easily see Mustang in his single-mindedness just, toasting her. May, young, impressionable, tricked by envy. B, she's decent, but actually no. A, because of her preconceived notions about Edric, not Edgar, little guy, Full Metal Alchemist, Edward. Tried to combine Edward and Elric. Major Miles, one of the Briggs men, good guy. He's more or less trying to do the same thing Scar is, just from the inside and a bit less violently. Armstrong, A tier. She's strong, aggressive, does what she sees is needed, and will not stop at anything. She is very clearly an Armstrong, with the golden curl just extending significantly longer. The Armstrong sister looks like Frollo, or whatever her name is from Rising of the Shield Hero. Need to read a bit more of that. What's her nuts? It's not Elenina. Decent character. She was there for a few episodes and then just kind of dipped. Granny Rockbell. I enjoy her presence. Her banter with Hohenheim, Edward, and his diminutive stature. Good time all around. Hawkeye. Also having the same name as one of my favorite characters in MASH helps. And also one of my favorite Avengers. Not a big Marvel guy though. A tier. Her final moments against Lust are really interesting because, looking at the details, I think the last gun she pulls out is her revolver. I'm guessing it's like a 44. Boom, 2, 3, 4, 5. That type of revolver has 6 shots, I believe. So, I think you can guess why she was saving one last shot. Just in case Mustang truly had his flame go out. Mama Rockbell. Let's rate your husband as well. No comment. You were decent enough, seemed to truly care about Winry, really a helpful person. Really no comment. Scar's brother. Does he have a name? I couldn't tell you what it is. C. his one lasting impact, other than giving Scar his right arm, I think, is creating the reverse transmutation circle and figuring out that there was something wrong with the alchemy in the country. It was a fun time watching you, but again, you're only at sea because of the large impacts you had. Salim Bradley. Why is Salim and Pride on here? Salim, by himself. I don't think Salim is a character without Pride. He's interesting. It's really cool how Mrs. Bradley decided to keep him around and raise him after, the whole incident happened. Shao Tucker. What do we say about you? Brilliant character. Showed us the downsides of alchemy. But, he's not a good person. Yes, but awful person who can die. I think one of the reasons why Scar is so enjoyable is because he kills Tucker. Like, instantly we know, okay, I'm back on neutral terms with this guy. He's still a crazed monster, but, we can trust him. And while we're at it, let's rate the whole family. Nina and Alexander. It's a fucking horrifying scene. Seeing them just, Daddy, no. Daddy's hurting. It hurts. That scene is up there. It's still a large gap, but it's up there with the leaves from the vine scene in Avatar. Sheska. Bookworm. I can relate to that. C tier because I can't further comment. You gave us the notes, but that's about it. Yeah. Mr. Curtis. B. There's not that much to him character-wise that we see. He loves Azumi, runs a butcher shop, is a strong man as opposed to Armstrong's bodybuilder physique. And it was cool just seeing the two of them just kind of flex on each other. Number 21, I think. The Slasher. He's alright. Nothing major about him. He's just interesting, how the two brothers worked more or less in sync. And yeah. I may have ranked the serial killers relatively low. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy them. But don't become serial killers. It's bad for you. Sloth. Cool fight scene. And I think one thing I've seen a lot is people assuming that sloth is just laziness. But it's also wasted potential. And I think that is more of what sloth embodies. He is still very lazy, but there's so much potential in him. He just doesn't act on it. The boy's mother. Didn't she pioneer the dead anime mom hairstyle? Gonna give her a B. Decent. Nothing all that major about her. She supported them. Fell in love with von Hohenheim. Again, nothing all that much to her. Enjoyable character, though. Winry, let's move you down to the bottom, Tucker, because that's where you belong. Winry, A tier character. She is the artificer, the heart and soul of the boys, working behind the scenes to get everything running. Enjoy her presence. Mechanic, gearhead, 9 out of 10. I think this is going to be Zampano. Yeah, Zampano, who apparently is a boar. I always thought he was a porcupine. I don't think boars shoot their bristles. He's going off with the boys, so I'll give him a C. Or at least Alphonse. He's an enjoyable presence to have. Just kind of background, though. And let's get Darius, because he is a pairing. No, he's it's not Darius, it's Yerso. Why is Yerso not on here? You're paired with Heinkel. Heinkel's a cool dude. Gorilla Man is also pretty cool. He's a gorilla. Pride. You are an interesting character. First, all that saying, I'm better than a human, you sure were quick to try and jump into Ed's body. Which, of course, disgusted Kimberly. B tier. You're a good guy, but eh. Or good character, not a good guy. He's perhaps one of the most hypocritical. And pride, in some extent, like all the sins, is good to have in you. Just don't let it consume you. My main boy, Edward Elric. Short boy. He's one of the better protagonists I've seen. He stays true to his ideology. He isn't like Raiden, who comes full circle and realizing, hey, the senator who played football at Texas and could have gone pro if he didn't join the Navy. It wasn't the Navy? Either way. Armstrong. Senator, that is. Not major. He's enjoyable. He sticks to his conviction and is a fun presence to have. Alphonse. Also, I enjoy Edward over Alphonse, but that is, I suppose, because I do enjoy Cynics a bit more. There's something that I don't think I have a full understanding on, but it's the whole idea of, red Oni, blue Oni. The red Oni is more, emotional, fiery, think Dante from Devil May Cry. Whereas blue Oni is more Virgil, cool, calm, calculated, has everything under control. It's a normal pairing to have. They balance each other out. The brothers are that. I think you can understand who is who because in one of the intros, one's color-coded red, the other's color-coded blue. Miss our good friend, Dr. Marco. The guy who started the whole modern Philosopher's Stone business. Yeah. You managed to destroy them. And overall, enjoy it. You're a fun character to have around. Your face got turned into Thanos scrotum, except the whole thing. And now Mustang. Mustang, he lost his vision and gained a new one. He's, snappiness. My Bioshock 1 playthrough has inadvertently turned into me being Mustang and just setting everything on fire. I'll probably do more in-depth videos on all the ones I feel the need to, and Mustang will definitely be amongst that group. McDougal, the Freezer Alchemist. C tier, you were right. You should have froze the place over. He almost did. It's really unfortunate. He almost could have ended the series episode 1. Panda is a panda. Fun panda, still a panda. The priest. Don't be a religious nut. Oddly interesting that coincides pretty much with the general message of the Cowboy Bebop episode I just watched, but still, don't be a religious nut. If I said that Mustang needed his own video, Pater von Hohenheim, Slave 23, because that's the amount of chromosomes that are in the body. He's fascinating. And in the end, he died with a smile on his face. See my previous comments about Scar, and with that, I know I sped through the last ones, but I need to do stuff after this, and it is running short on time for me. I enjoy Scar. His redemption arc and, breaking the cycle of hatred and violence is awesome. Don't like his hairstyle at the end of the show, but I was never really a fan of, the shaved sides, long top. Yeah. Anyway, this is the list. I'll throw a empty version of it down below. If you can find me on any social media, I assume you can't because I don't have any beyond an account that I only use for contacting other people that is never used otherwise. Let me know how you feel. Link it in the comments or whatever. And yeah, that's it for today. Without any further ado, you guys know the drill. Stuff down below, do it as you see fit. And until next time, this is Owen Prince, signing out.